What is up, everybody? My name is Nick, joined once again by my co-host, Matt. And we got a special guest today, Austin from Calling Our Shots. Thanks for joining us. You've been killing it.
Hey, I'm happy to be here, talk about some college football, talk about some NBA, and really get after it this Saturday morning.
Yeah.
He's crushing.
I'm excited. No, most definitely. Matt, I know you're handling retweets. You do your thing on your end. Me and Austin got some football to talk about.
Yeah,
I'm nervous. Yeah, I'm nervous today. I'm very nervous today. We're going to get into the Georgia game. Let me put out a quick retweet. Boom. Austin, any thoughts? First of all, let's talk about the NBA season. Why don't you talk about your little run a little bit and how that's going? And, what your thoughts on the NBA season so far?
NBA has been we've been on a really good run. I'm ready for the cold streak to happen, but we've definitely been on a really good run. Definitely get lucky avoiding some injury news and just avoiding some terrible shooting performances. But it's been very high scoring across the NBA, so I'm expecting some unders to probably start hitting in the next couple weeks as teams start to play a little bit more defense. And ultimately, we've seen a lot of star power, but I think the NBA is going to start. I mean, I think there's still a lot of value in those bench guys. The thing that's annoying me, though, is especially today, more so than any other day, you see so many players resting on back-to-backs. We see a lot of people sick, and there's been a lot of, like last year, a lot of last-minute, injury changes, which is very frustrating for a person that does videos in the morning to then have random guys get ruled out at the end of the day. It can be luckily we've avoided those kind of things, but that's kind of one of the most annoying things so far, just 2 or 3 weeks into the year.
You talking about that one team from Oklahoma? I won't mention it.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, they got fined a couple times. I'm trying to figure out my freaking camera.
Well, I feel like everything that has stars, right? Like the Warriors and the Clippers, they're just like the regular season to them is still like as long as you get to the playoffs, they think that they could beat anybody. So it's almost like there's really no benefit of the number one seed. And when everyone's doing it, you don't even know who you're dodging, who you're getting to. So a lot of them just rest up and show up when they want.
Yeah, and that's kind of the sad part about it. I am intrigued to see I like to see the teams that are still like fighting for things. Like you see like teams like the Jazz who have quietly been like pretty good. A team that has, I think I saw something on Twitter, someone equating them to the Seahawks in the NFL. A team that doesn't have stars on their team really, but teams are just playing good team basketball, which is kind of cool to see. It's kind of reminds you of a team like the Cavaliers from last year who have Lauri Markkanen, had Lauri Markkanen. He's now on this team too. I think it's cool though. It's cool to see, but like any team going any given night, and that's cool to see in the NBA. You just never really know what to expect. You just expect the stars to show up, and sometimes you see them have bad performances, and when see teams like the Jazz or the Magic win games that they probably have no chance of business winning.
Yeah. I mean, the Jazz are interesting though, because were they trying to tank but not kind of? I mean, their team is kind of good. Like I'm going through the roster. Mike Conley's a veteran. Kelly Olynyk's, he's not a superstar, but he's a veteran. Lauri Markkanen's good. Colin Sexton is really good. Malik Beasley's good. Rudy Gay, another veteran. Talon Horton Tucker, who's on the Lakers team for a couple of years. Like they have a decent squad that, again, you're right, that can play a lot of team basketball, a lot of unselfish players. I'm curious to see how they're going to play this season.
Yeah, I mean, very similar like to the Cavaliers from last year. I mean, they had Darius Garland, who now people are like, oh, wow, this guy's so good. But no one thought Darius Garland was, an all-star last year. So I don't know. The Jazz are a quiet team that I think they just are going to fight to win a lot of games. Will they win? Will they be as good as 7-3 they are now? By the end of the year, I don't think so. But yeah, hey, it's fun to see, and I'm just glad the NBA's back because I was getting tired of betting baseball.
Yeah, the question is who's going to win the ultimate prize at the end of the year? First round pick, number one pick.
Yeah. Getting Wembanyama. I saw him shooting that floater 3-pointer off one leg. Yeah. If I were the Jazz, I'd trade everything. I'd say, no, we're done. But that guy's ridiculous.
Just put him out there. One guy and four other just delivery drivers.
Colin Sexton's played 3-on-5 before at Alabama when he was in college. So he could maybe that's the new strategy.
But we got some football to talk about. Let's see. I forgot we have comments too. Nonetheless, I'm very nervous for today. I'm very nervous. Can't even talk right now. I'm trying to figure it out. But let's get to that game in a minute. Let's try to work our way to it. I know you got a game. Well, 2 games I can't bet because they're teams from Virginia. Liberty versus I
They're
only have
playing
is Liberty
Arkansas.
plus 14.5. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like
I
Liberty.
Yeah, I haven't studied these games at all because I can't bet them. It's the unfortunate part of being in Virginia.
But the good thing for the people out there is that they can bet them, unless they're in Virginia, then they can't. But I really do like the Liberty Flames this week against Arkansas. I think Arkansas they're back at home. Obviously, you look at Liberty, a 7-1 team, independent. I mean, Liberty's just playing for fun out there. Like, this is a team that's trying to, if they can get up the rankings, become into a New Year's Six bowl, that's potential for them. And they could use a win against Arkansas under their belt this week. And giving me 14.5 is way too big of a line. I don't think Arkansas knows how to blow out teams. They look at their schedule. They see Liberty, then they see Ole Miss and LSU. I just think they're just going to overlook the Flames. And I think the 14.5 is way too much. I think the Liberty could actually win this game. I don't think Arkansas is great. So yeah, I like the Liberty Flames plus the 14.5 this weekend. Sorry you can't bet it, but hopefully it cashes.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think a money line is not out of the question either. Especially after the performance last week versus BYU, you could really see that this team has talent. Even losing Malik Willis last year, it doesn't matter. Still has a boatload of talent. Especially for a small school like that, it's very, very impressive overall. Let's go to a team that has a boatload of talent as well. It's Oregon versus Colorado. I like this Oregon team now. That offense is rolling, absolutely rolling. And they're going against, a Colorado team that's just bad. I've had some bad luck going against Colorado so far this year. But Buffalo surrendered 129th most points per game, 130th most yards. And that's going against the Oregon team that does the 3rd most yards and the 5th most points in all country. It's not the matchup you want as a struggling defense. And their offense has been doing a little bit better overall, but I think 31.5, it's a giant number. But these are the type of games at this point in the season when the college football rankings and the playoffs are out, these big teams that are fighting for the positions, you can't even win small. You got to win big, and you got to win decisive the entire time, the rest of the season. And games like this, if you mess up and only win by 14-21 versus a Colorado team that's 1-7 on the year and is just bad, and you're supposed to trying to be playing for a national championship, it's not going to work when it comes down to the wire. And you got to look at strength of schedule, and you're going to look at how decisive these wins are. It's going to matter. So these teams are playing, and they got to be playing on their top level and put up a shitload of points, basically.
I forget to see, is Oregon at home or on the road?
They're on the road. They are on the road at Colorado.
But I think you nailed it on the head. I mean, at the end of the day, they have an uphill battle. They already have a loss on their record. And the teams like the Alabamas, the Georgias, Tennessees, which we'll talk about in a second, they got to win out, and they got to win convincingly. It's going to be the marginal difference between being a 4 seed in the playoffs and not making it at all. If you kind of struggle and maybe you're tied at halftime versus a Colorado team, which has stunk it up all year long. So I think you're hit the nail on the head. As long as they don't get backdoored here, which is it's in territory of being backdoored, I think they should be able to blow them out pretty easily on the road.
Yeah, no, most definitely. But let's get right into it. Georgia, Tennessee. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's betting on it. I'm nervous. Obviously, I'm a Georgia fan. The line currently is 9.5. Do I like that people are continuing to bet on Tennessee and the line's going the opposite way? I don't hate it. That's for sure. But what I'm doing, we'll talk about your play in a second. What I'm doing, guys, it's called a fun hedge. At least that's the name I came up with it. I'm hedging my fun.
Hedging happiness.
Hedging my happiness. Thank you. I'm taking Tennessee plus 9.5. So, do I want to do the money line? Yeah, I might do a little bit on the money line. But if Georgia loses, I still win. If Georgia wins, there's a chance if it's a close game, I double win. So I'm just hedging my happiness. So no matter what, I'm coming out on top somehow during this game. Would I take the 9.5? It's a huge line. I don't know if Georgia can. Tennessee can put up points, even if it's a situation like a backdoor or something like that at the end of the game when they're up 2 scores and there's like a minute left. You never know. It surprised me when I saw the line. Honestly, I thought it'd be like just no research, nothing, just be like, under a touchdown or around a touchdown. But it keeps creeping up to that 10-point mark. Obviously I'm super biased, but I really like this Georgia team. I like that they're number 3. I don't like that they're, if they were number 1, Kirby Smart loves to play. He talks about it all the time. These local reporters, beat reporters, everybody talks about how he loves to talk about how nobody respects us. And it's really hard when you're defending national championship, but stuff like this makes that more relevant and, easier to talk about when you put them at number 3 overall. But I know you got to play for this game. Why don't you talk about that as well?
Yeah, so I really like I have a tough time picking a spread in that one because I know everyone and their mother's on Tennessee. I know Josh Heupel from his UCF days. I obviously have my UCF pennant behind me because I went to there when he was the head coach. He's normally struggled on the road. They've obviously had no problems this year, but I like the under in this one. It's gone down from 66.5, I think, going down 65, 64.5. And I don't think Georgia has a chance of winning this game if this goes over and it's a shootout. I just don't think they have the offensive capability. Stetson Bennett's been good. They have a good offensive line, rushing and attack. But I just don't think they can win if this is a high-scoring game. That's what Heupel in Tennessee wants it to be. They want it to be, all right, here's 3-minute possessions. Who can win? And if that's the game where you're having to score in 3 minutes or less, I think Tennessee wins it. But I don't think that's the case. I think in Athens, we see Georgia slow down the tempo. They're like 105th in pace. They just want to run it slow, to use Brock Powers, use their tight ends, just use all that, just run up and down the field, just kind of bully ball. And I think that's how you beat Tennessee. Everyone wants to look at, that Tennessee-Alabama game where there was 150 points scored. They're like, oh, well, this is duplication. These are 2 top 3, 4 teams. I don't think that's the case. I think Georgia just runs the ball and just kind of tries to limit the possessions. And if you can limit the possessions, force Tennessee into trying to go for it on fourth and 2 on the 50-yard line, make a stop there. And I think that's the difference in this game. I think it comes down to 4th down. Josh Heupel, one of the most aggressive play callers, and I don't think he gets them against a very good Georgia defense, who, despite losing, 25 guys to the NFL last year in the draft, they still retooled, and they got a great defense back there. So I really like the under, but hopefully it's a close game, though, except maybe it's not if you're Georgia Bulldogs blow them out. I don't think you'll be mad.
There we go. Okay. You have to get kicked off the show real quick, depending on what you said. So no worries. No. Yeah, if Georgia's going to be competitive, it's got to be a close game. Not that I think our offense is bad, and Stetson Bennett has grown on me as a player, especially obviously last year. He's become he just makes stupid mistakes every once in a while, and those stupid mistakes, if you just limit them, he'll just force something, or even in non-competitive games, you just practice just don't be aggressive like that. Just, oh God, it's the stupid throws. I just imagine in my head, I get so frustrated. Let's talk about another game I can't bet. James Madison plus 7.5. Tell me about it. I know that's one of your plays.
I really like the Dukes here. And I would ask you a trivia question. Who allows the fewest rushing yards per game in that college football this year? It would be the James Madison Dukes. And we think about Louisville, think about Malik Cunningham. I just think Louisville wants to run the football. And if James Madison come out here and stuff the run, I don't care what they do on offense. They can stuff the run and make Malik Cunningham throw the ball, which a lot of teams haven't been able to do this year. I think that James Madison has a good chance of pulling off an upset. This is a team playing, just for fun out there. It's a team that, they don't expect a lot of – when you look at a team like James Madison versus Louisville only laying plus 7.5, you're like, what the heck's going on with this line? I think James Madison plays this one tough. Louisville's won like 4 in a row, but they get Clemson next week. Just saying, put Louisville on upset alert. I think James Madison, the Dukes, got a chance.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm about to go through a brick wall for James Madison right now.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. That James Madison team is very impressive. I hear about them all the time, especially being local to the area or near the area.
It's just weird that they're even in at plus 7.5 when they've lost 2 straight versus teams like Georgia Southern and Marshall by like 8 or more points. And then you got them laying only 7.5 versus a very good Louisville team who's won 4 straight. The line makes no sense. I think Louisville's just going to overlook James Madison with Clemson on deck. I just think this is the James Madison's. They keep it close for no reason. Maybe pull off an upset, and people are like, "What the heck?" But the people heard it here on Better or Worse, though, so they shouldn't be surprised.
There you go. Yeah, 100%.
I'm clipping that. I'm clipping that if it hits. I'm clipping that.
There you go. I agree with you as well. Again, can't bet it. Super disappointed about it. I'm really disappointed about the Liberty pick. I love the Liberty pick. I really
The only
do.
thing that concerns me about Liberty is I don't know their QB situation. I think their QBs might be banged up, but you know what? I don't care. Put me out there.
Yeah, no worries. One last pick for me. It's Ohio State versus Northwestern. We're targeting these teams that have to perform at the highest level versus shitty opponents. And I'm taking Ohio State team total. It's currently 47.5 on Caesars. That's the only line I could find it on. It's not on GK. It's not on FanDuel currently. Really, again, first of all, this Ohio State team offensively is super impressive. We can run through some of the numbers as far as points they put up versus, better opponents than they're facing this week. It's 44 versus Penn State, 54 versus Iowa, 49 versus Michigan State, and 49 versus Rutgers, 52 versus Wisconsin. Those are all better defenses than what they're going to face today. 77 versus Toledo, 45 versus Arkansas State. I mean, it's just they just put up points, and they're going to continue to do that. It's at Northwestern. So here's the thing: the number keeps dropping. Number one, I don't know how much Northwestern is going to be able to actually score the ball. That's why I targeted team total instead of over or under or anything like that. As far as the overall game, there is some wind that's going to be accounted for today at the ball game, and that's something that people are talking about. It's going to be a good amount of wind, but Ohio State can run the ball on anybody, including Northwestern. Northwestern is just a bad team. This is kind of they're 1-7. This is going up against a team like this. They're either gonna keep it close at the very beginning, or they're just gonna get blown out and destroyed from the very beginning. So I kind of see that going where they just get absolutely destroyed the entire time, and enjoy some fireworks and a shitty game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is Northwestern's national championship. So at home, I think you'll know within the first 3 drives if that bet's going to hit or if you're going to need a miracle in the end. But I think I like it. Ohio State, one of the best offenses, and their defense has quietly been very, very good this year. And I could give them some short fields, easy touchdowns. Maybe they aren't kicking field goals because of the wind and they're just going for it. And I have faith in the pick. I trust you.
Yeah. All right. That's it for college football. I know there was something that you wanted to bring up for the NBA, and then we'll end the day and, have a great one. I'll start getting drunk because I'm very scared.
Yeah, so as a lot of people know, we don't really have a lot of NBA lines out right now. But I guess the one that I am looking at, and that's the guy that we cashed out on yesterday, was Nicholas Claxton's over in PRAs. You could probably take points plus rebounds, might be a little safer, but taking on the Hornets, so kind of a money glitch. You just take the opposing center's points plus rebounds versus them. Probably going to hit more often than not. And ultimately, I mean, this Nets team, assuming they don't rest a lot of guys on a back-to-back, Claxton, they were able to rest guys in the fourth yesterday. Claxton had a pretty good game, and they have no big men, assuming Ben Simmons is still out. So I think you're just going to see Claxton play 35 minutes against a very bad Hornets team. Probably get a couple lob dunks. I think he has a good chance. So I'm not sure what the line is. I don't want to say, hey, bet it, whatever it is, because they hit you with like a 30.5. I would not bet that. But it's only like 25, 26. I think it's a pretty good bet.
Yeah, I'm 100% agree with you. I missed out yesterday because I thought about blowout potential with Steven Adams, and I hate myself for it.
I was right there with you. He had guy was cheesing.
I was literally looking at every combination. So rebounds, points, and then a double as well. And I just didn't. So there's 2 things about Steven Adams. I like betting him, but sometimes he doesn't get the minutes for some random reason. He'll get like 22 minutes compared to 31 or 33, somewhere up there. And that's really the main concern there. Or he's just not aggressive offensively as far as, the baskets. He's always going to be trying to get those boards because that's, what keeps him in the league is being a true big man, getting the boards and, helping the team then transition to John, so on and so forth. But yeah, I love him. Anybody versus the Hornets is a good pick probably at center.
Yeah, and the Hornets do a lot of double teaming when you try to drive against them. So should be a lot of lob opportunities for him. But yeah, like you, I avoided Steven Adams for the same reasons. Yeah, I don't know what Brandon Clark does on the bench, but some games he gets 35 minutes for no reason, and Steven Adams plays like 13. So that's why I avoided him. I shouldn't have. So hopefully Claxton goes out there and plays pretty well.
I'm pretty sure the Hornets, if you're a center and you see your schedule for the week, like you're just circling that game and you're just like, I'm gonna go to bed at 10 o'clock. I'm not staying out late because I know I just get a stat boosting opportunity in this game. But in regards to the minute situation, it's probably just a game script thing. Brandon Clark's a little smaller, obviously. If they need to play a little smaller, maybe the team's playing too quick for him. It's probably just a game flow kind of move. Or maybe they're just playing, a little too quick. Whatever it is, it's probably just, on the fly coaching moves, see how the game's going. But yeah, he feasted yesterday. 19 rebounds in 22 minutes. That's almost a rebound a minute.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they were up at like 26 at half. It didn't matter. But let's go through our college football picks and all of our picks one more time, and then we'll head out for the day. Austin, you got Liberty plus 14.5. I am on Oregon minus 31.5. For the Georgia-Tennessee game, I'm hedging my happiness. Thank you for the new term, Matt. With the Tennessee plus 9.5. That's only because I'm a huge Georgia fan and I win no matter what. You're on the under, which is 64.5 currently. You're also on James Madison plus 7.5, and I'm on Ohio State team total. I'm now being told it's 46.5 currently at minus 110 on FanDuel, 46.5 at FanDuel. Take that line. That's a point better. Anything else, guys, you could think for today?
Nope. I think you got everything good. Hopefully it's a great Saturday, great weather, and hopefully win some bets.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Matt, thanks for joining us as always. You did good at NHL, by the way, I guess, if you want to talk about that for a second. But Austin, it's been a pleasure as always. Tomorrow we're going to have another Austin on, Austin Props. So look forward to that. Then we'll go over the NFL slate. Guys, enjoy your Saturday. Bet responsibly. Deuces.
See you.